3, 2, and 1. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Vicky, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new Anastasia and Amrezy eyeshadow palette. That's backwards. This is what it looks like. She is glittery, Barbie inspired, and gorgeous. I did get it in PR, so I also got it with this very cute mirror right here. So I'm basically going to be telling you guys everything you need to know about this eyeshadow palette, comparisons to previous ABH palettes, as well as swatches, and then a little tutorial demonstration after, like at the end of this video. So I'm going to leave timestamps in the description box just in case you want to skip around to something specific. And the whole point of this video is just to let you guys know everything you need to know about this eyeshadow palette so that you guys can decide whether it's for you or not. So this is what the inside looks like. It retails for $49 and there's 16 new shades. So there's 10 regular shadows, 4 pressed pigments, and 2 pressed glitters. So I failed to mention that a pressed pigment, if you don't know what it is, essentially is just the pure pigment, the pure powder is just simply pressed into a pan. There's no really like added ingredients or anything to dilute the powder. It's just the pure pigment pressed into a pan. And the reason that they do that is for the eyeshadow to be able to be as pigmented as it possibly can. The pressed pigments are Cupcake, which is this shimmery purple one right here, Resi, which is the hot pink, Semsa, I think that's how you say it. It's this matte berry color, which by the way is my favorite color in this eyeshadow palette. And then Yugo, which is just this like kind of burgundy, purpley, brownish color. By the way, it does come with an eyeshadow brush. I just took it out. I use them. I love them. All these Anastasia palettes always come with an eyeshadow brush. So I don't know if this eyeshadow palette is limited edition. I don't think it would be, but it could be. I'm not really sure. I've used this eyeshadow palette like 4 or 5 times at this point, and I've used pretty much all the colors, and I find that the shimmers are very buttery, very metallic, very pigmented. They really pack a punch. Like, they are metallic. They're not just shimmery, they're like metallic. And there's no fallout in the pan, but I do find that I get just a little bit of fallout under my eyes after I put them on. I just get like little glitter chunks under my eyes, but that could easily be wiped away. So I would compare the shimmer shades in this palette to the shimmer shades in the Jackie Aina palette, the Carly Bible palette, as well as the Soft Glam palette, and probably the Riviera palette too. So the shimmers are very similar to those, just in case you need like a reference. As far as the mattes go, they're just your typical Anastasia matte eyeshadows. They're very pigmented, very buttery, smooth, easy to blend, but they do have a lot of kick up whenever you like dip into it into the pan. But on the eyes, I don't find that I get fallout under the eyes, and they don't stain, mostly because they're neutrals, but I think it's good to know they're not going to stain your eyes. So for the pressed glitters, I don't really like pressed glitters personally. The only pressed glitters that I've tried are the one in the Huda Beauty New Nude palette, and I've used them a couple times and they seem kind of similar, but personally I don't use pressed glitters. They just seem very messy for me. I have tried the ones in the Amrezy palette, but I'm just not the biggest fan of pressed glitters. But if you are, then you might like them, but if you're not, they're just kind of like unnecessary for me. Another thing that I didn't really like about this palette is that these 2 shades right here, OG and New Yorker, are very, very similar, and I don't know if there was like a specific reason why she did that, but that's just one thing that I don't like. I've dipped into both of them, but like she could have picked something else. And as far as the mattes go, I feel like they're quite similar, just like a little similar to the Soft Glam palette. And then here's the Modern Renaissance. I feel like the mattes are kind of similar as well. And then I feel like the shimmers in this palette are very similar to the ones in the Norbina palette, the purple Norbina palette. I'm gonna put up a picture. I don't have that palette anymore. I gave it away because I didn't like it, but I feel like it's kind of got like a similar vibe, but truly I feel like they don't have anything that's quite like this. So I do feel like it's quite unique to the Anastasia palette collection. So I know that I got this palette in PR, but if I wasn't on the PR list and I didn't have all these Anastasia palettes that they've sent me, would I buy it? Honestly, probably, because I just really like the mattes in this palette, and then the shimmers are super good too. Like I said, the only things that I don't like are the two pressed glitters, as well as the two shades that are like super similar to each other, but those are shades, transition shades, that I use every single time I use this palette, so I get use out of them, so that's good. But the pressed glitters, not a big fan of, but I think I would still buy it if I wasn't on the list. And I would say that this palette is for the girl that loves her neutrals, but also likes to dabble a little bit into glitter, because it kind of reminds me of the Modern Renaissance palette, but with more of a pop, more of a like pop of color. If you want to dabble into a little bit of color, but you are a neutral lover, I think you would love this palette. But if you are like afraid of color completely and you don't want to dabble into it at all, this palette is not for you. And if you are a color lover and you only like to wear colorful eyeshadow, this palette is also not for you. It's for the girl that loves both neutrals and colorful eyeshadows. So I'm gonna insert some swatches right now so that you can see the payoff of all these shades, as well as a little tutorial so that you can see how they work on the eyes. So I'm starting off with the Anastasia eye primer, and then I'm just going to blend it out with a concealer brush. And I use this primer every single time I wear eyeshadow. It's my favorite. It's the only one that doesn't make my eyeshadow crease. Then I'm going to pack on the eyeshadow New Yorker onto the crease area, and then I'm going to blend it out with a clean brush, but this is just one of the warm brown colors. Then I'm gonna go in with the shade Semsa. That's that berry color, one of my favorite colors in this palette, and I'm going to put that into the crease as well, but I'm keeping it a little bit lower, and then I'm gonna blend it out with New Yorker just to make sure that everything is nice and diffused. For the outer corner, I'm going in with BK and Yugo, which are the two darkest shades in the palette, and I'm mixing them together, and I'm just going to pack that onto the outer corner and then use the previous two shades that I used in the crease to blend it out. So I decided to cut my crease, and for the top part of my crease, I went in with Leo, which is just the bright turquoise blue, and then for the bottom half of my crease I went in with Georgina, which is just the shimmery brown, and I packed that onto the lid and kind of blended it into the outer corner just so that we have a nice blend there. And then for the inner corner I went in with Cupcake, which is the shimmery purple color. Now for the lower lash line, I just went in with all of the matte shades that I used on the lid or on the crease area, just doing the same thing to the lower lash line. For the brow bone, I decided to just pop in Wasted, just to add more colors. It's just a very light wash of color, just a light wash of pink. And then for the inner corner highlight, like the very inner corner, I went in with Anastasia, and then over the top of that I went in with Barb, which is more of a topper shade. And then for the lashes, I went in with the Anastasia lashes in the style So Hollywood. And with that, the look is complete. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. All the links to my social media will be linked down below, as well as all the products that I mentioned in this video, and I will see you guys next time.